Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabati ajma'in. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has gathered us here this evening for another great session as a continuation of the 111th Islamic vacation course. We want to welcome every one of us to this platform today, as it is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ that you need to welcome your guests. As a host of today, we are welcoming you to this platform with the best of greetings, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now I can see the response in the chat box. Jazakumullah khairan. I equally want to welcome our guest, our father, who has joined us on this platform, from whom we are going to learn a lot of things today, inshallah. We welcome them to this platform. We greet you by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Doctor.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khairan. Now, for today, inshallah, we have a special topic that carries the entire theme of this year's December IVC. And with that, it is an indication that it's going to be very interesting, a laudable one, inshallah. And we want every one of us to pay rapt attention. For those who are here to join us, we can equally put a call through to them so that we all can benefit from the topic of discourse today. We have invited elder scholars to join us and have a discussion with us. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to assist them in this regard. So before we now move on, let us start the program with the usual way it used to be. And inshallah, we shall be starting with our memory lane. Of course, we have our Ustaz Abdulaziz Ali that has always been taking us through the memory lane to lead us through the memory lane, inshallah. In a short while, we expect him to come in. So Ustaz Abdullah, please kindly allow Ustaz Abdulaziz to join in. Otherwise, we play the recorded version while we await his arrival. We have just 10 minutes to do the memorization. Can you please let us have Ustaz Abdulaziz Ali to join us? Okay. If we cannot get him now, I think it is better we have the recorded version so that we can all listen to it and we follow the recitation, inshallah. So, Brother Abdullah, can you please assist with the sharing of the recorded version? So for those who are just joining for today, the memory lane, inshallah, is Surah Al-Anbiya. Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 105 to 108. Surah Al-Anbiya. So we can open to our Quran. For the memorization. Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 108, 105 to 108. That is Quran 21. Abu Aisha, hope I'm not the only one hearing myself here.
You are audible, sir.
All right, thank you. Because I was expecting Ustaz Abdullah to help us with the recorded version while we are waiting to Ustaz Abdulaziz Ali to join us. Okay. If we cannot get our stars now, I'll seek your indulgence to let me take the lead with the memorization. While we have Ustaz Abdulaziz Ali to join us, so we have the recorded version. Meanwhile, I would love us to unmute about 3 people. Let us unmute about 3 people so that it's going to be as live as possible. So let us unmute 3 people. Please, if you would love to join in the memorization, kindly signify so that you'll be unmuted to follow the recitation. Please, if you would love to follow the memorization lane, you can raise up your hand so that you'll be unmuted. Okay, we have some people raising up their hands. Please, let us unmute those people so that we can. Oh, we have a lot of hands up, mashallah. Okay, we have Raji Ibrahim. Raji Ibrahim, so you have been unmuted. Olagunju Abdulaziz, you have been unmuted. Rabia Shitu, you have been unmuted. So I'm just following it in no order, please. I'm following it in no order. So we have Halima here. You have been unmuted too. So I think it's okay this way. So every other person can just join us while we do the memorization, inshallah. Now, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
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 ذكر ذكر ذكر.
من بعد الذكر.
نعم. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون.
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 Let's take it again from the beginning. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون.
أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون.
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر.
من بعد الذكر.
من بعد الذكر
ذكر
ذكر
من بعد الذكر
من
بعد الذكر
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر
ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر
أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون
أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون.
Okay, let's take it together. Bismillah. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. Okay, let us take the next verse. إن في هذا لبلاغ لقوم عابدين.
إن
إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين.
إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين.
لبلاغا لقوم عابدين. We are going to do the long between that going and lam, so there will be no nasalization. You understand? لا بلاغ لقوم عابدين.
Actually, kindly check the messages on WhatsApp.
Okay. If the messages are for me, inshallah, I'm going to get them, but okay, I'll go then, inshallah. Now, so let's take the next verse I've said. إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين.
إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين.
So, inshallah, we shall stop here because we say we have just 10 minutes. But then let us listen to the recorded version once. Then we move to the next item of the agenda, inshallah. So, bismillah, let's also have the recorded version, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين. إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد. فهل أنتم مسلمون؟
Now, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So we want to encourage everyone of us to please go through the recitation so that we can all memorize it before the end of the IVC. So at this juncture, we move to the next thing on the agenda, and that is to have a mu'ayasha. So I have the privilege to welcome dear Ustaz Abdul Aziz Ishaq to take us through the mu'ayasha. فليتفضل مشكورا أستاذ.
I think he is trying to reconnect. His network is having issues now.
Okay, I can see it's not there. Okay, while we await his arrival, I want to believe that we all have a copy of the Mu'ayasha, the hadith for the Mu'ayasha. I believe we all have a copy of it. And if we are yet to have it as style, is that we are supposed to have our writing material so that we can jot anything that is necessary, and then we can have recourse to revise what will be taught today. So if you are yet to have your writing material, please do so that because it is that anything that is written, of course, it will be there forever, but if it has been memorized alone, in case of any loss, then what could have happened? So we may not be able to recall it back. So let us have our writing material where we have our stars to take us through the Mu'ayasha. Of course, everything that we have, inshallah, shall equally be following the theme of the December IVC, that is the world order. Then for those of us who joined yesterday, it will not be strange to us, but as usual, we need to have a continuation of our event. So we should not also forget that, inshallah, at the end of the session today, we shall be having the Kahoot session. So this will assist us to actually know, so how many of us are actually paying rapt attention to the lecture, because we want us to maximize the session 100%. If not 100%, at least let us have 99% maximization of the process of the session. So let us pay rapt attention so that, inshallah, after the entire session, we shall be having a Kahoot session. As usual, you know what it looks like yesterday. After the entire lecture, you know, a lot of people were there, and we have a winner at the end of the quiz. So today will not be an exception. We shall be having such session. So let us be ready and have our writing material. You know, we never can tell who is going to lead today, inshallah. So we await our stars to join us. We await our stars to join us.
Get the lecture started, sir. Let us start the lecture.
Okay, we should start the lecture. Okay.
Yes.
Now, on this note, we may have to skip that Mu'ayasha due to some logistic reasons. So, inshallah, today we are having two lectures. We're having two lectures, and we have two erudite scholars to discuss a single topic. And it is not strange, like I've mentioned earlier, that inshallah today we are going to discuss the real theme of this 111th Islamic vacation course for this year. And the topic to be discussed is the real world order. The real world order. So many of us would have imagined that, oh, what is actually the real world order? What does it entail? What are the order? What are the association? Because we are used to hearing something of such nature. So today, inshallah, we have our scholars to shed more light to it. We shall understand the postulated implement of the New World Order agenda, the effect on the Muslim, etc. So we have our scholar, Ustaz Haroon Thanni, the director of Muslim Association for Ireland, to join us in this session, as well as our dear father, Dr. LUKMAN RAHEEM, to equally take us through this session. So I have the privilege to firstly invite our Dr. Abdurrahim LUKMAN to start the session for us. So let us be wrapped at, oh, I'm sorry. So the first lecture to be presented is to be presented by our dear Ustaz Haroon Thanni. I don't know if he has been able to join us here.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. You're most welcome, sir.
So if you can, to allow brother Dr. Abdurrahim to kickstart the lecture, because I'm going to have my Maghrib in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we are going to pray Maghrib here. I think I forgot about the timing. Your 4:30 is our 3:30, and we pray Maghrib at 4:10. So if
Maghrib at 4:10.
yeah.
Oh God, mashallah.
So I'm sorry for that.
Okay. That's not a problem, inshallah. So as you can see, the time is different in Ireland and Nigeria here. So love to welcome our Ustaz LUKMAN Abdurrahim to please start the session. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أيها الإخوة والأخوات السلام عليكم warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is a pleasure to be in the midst of my brothers and sisters in Islam to discuss this thought-provoking topic with them. Can you see the screen? My slide? Hello?
Yes, we can see it loud and clear. We can see it.
Okay.
You can see it very clearly, sir.
Okay. At the end of this particular discourse, the organizer will share my slide with you because this is a conversation. So the real world order, of course, is Islam. And the reason why it is so is because if you look at Islam from the source, the definition, and also the branches of Islam, you agree with me that Islam is actually the real world order. Other world orders that people have actually fabricated and orchestrated are failing. And that is why you have crises in the world. From the definition of Islam by Imam Hassan al-Banna, he said Islam is a comprehensive system dealing with all spheres of life. It is a state and a homeland, or a government and a nation. It is morality and power, or mercy and justice. It is a culture and a law, or gain and prosperity. It is jihad and a call, or army and a mission. And finally, it is true belief and worship. This is the definition that provides a comprehensive history of what Islam is all about. And if you look at Quran, from Surah to Fatiha to Surah to Nas, different verses, different chapters, you see that they address different segments of Islam as enunciated by Imam al-Banna. So why have we said that Islam is the real world order? According to Sayyid Abu Alam al-Judi, he said Islamic system could be dichotomized into three. A section of Islam looks at Tawhid, unity of Allah. Another segment look at Ar-Risala, the prophethood, and the third one, which is Al-Khilafa, vicegerency. So what you see United Nations doing, Nigeria, America, US, every one of us, is actually Khilafa. We are trying to exemplify the directive of Allah in Quran chapter 2, verse 30. Allah said, "Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa," that I want to place on earth vicegerent. But we have not been able to do that very well because we have changed the order of Allah. And Allah won, "Wala tufsidu fil ard ba'da islahiha." Don't corrupt the earth after it has been sanctified and purified by Allah. So this is another evidence that points to the comprehensiveness, ash-shumuliyya of Islam. Look at Islam is divided into different segments: Aqidah, belief, Sharia, the laws, akhlaq, morality and ethics, the ibadat, the muamalat, interpersonal relations, social issue, which is divided into political activities, economic activities, and social activities. You cannot see this in any religion. So what are the features of real world order? I've provided 5 evidences, and briefly, the first one, Allah affirms that Islam is the deen. Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam. The only acceptable way of life is al-Islam. Quran 3 verse 19. Also, Allah said other deen are unacceptable. They may be useful on earth for one reason or the other, but before Allah is not acceptable. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرِ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. That is very instructive. Also, Islam is an order that conforms with the nature of man. So Allah has given us Islam because it's a comprehensive way of life that aligns with our nature. فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِخَلْقِ اللَّهِ ذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمِ. That verse has 3 attributes. The first one is Fitrat Allah. Islam is in line with the nature of Allah. Fatara Nasa Aliyah, the nature in which He has created mankind. And I said, Dhalika Din al-Qayyum. It is a standard religion. Walakina akthara nas la ya'lamun. So most mankind do not know. And finally, Allah says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. Allah affirms that Islam is justly balanced. There is no extremism nor laxity in Islam. It is a golden mean. It is not capitalism. It is not socialism. The best of capitalism, the best of socialism are all embodied and enshrined in Islam. So that is why Allah call it Ummatan Wasatan, middle position of justice, excellent, golden mean. And those of us who are the adherents, Allah calls us Shu'ada ala nas. We are witnesses over mankind. We are pathfinders. We are vicegerents. We are people that are called pace setters and vanguards. But unfortunately, today we are spectators. So let's quickly look at what mankind has actually replaced with the real world order. So today we have things like New World Order. It's a very common terminology. What does it mean? According to the synopsis, they want you to know what is the New World Order. So New World Order is a nebulous term that emerged in 1990s as a conspiracy theory. So this is from political science and the political economy. Some said it emerged in 1919. Some said it emerged in 1990s. The most important thing we should go on with is that there is a concept called New World Order. So it is a tyrannical ideology of one world order with a well-orchestrated agenda, manufactured crises, and repressive measures to be imposed by few powerful nations and global elites on other nations and people. So that's the definition. Some people sat down somewhere and created an agenda that will be imposed on the rest of us. They want every one of us to follow the same ethics, the same way of life, political ideology, etc. And if you don't conform, you are going to be dealt with severely. So this particular idea is driven by globalization and international governance. So the new world order of one world, where everybody is expected to conform with a particular lifestyle, is called New World Order. But unfortunately, it failed because people actually resisted it. They resisted it because of the understanding that is Americanization and the McDonaldization of the world. So some of the nations that resisted are China, North Korea, Russia, Turkey, Iran, and some failed states like Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, etc. So consequently, the New World Order is reimagined. Instead of having one world order where you impose a particular idea on people, what we have after 2000s is a multipolar world dominated by 3 large continental regions. So the New World Order in town now is dominated by 3 powers: America, the European Union, and the China-centric Asia. So according to experts in that particular area. So if you read some of his work, Michael O'Sullivan, he has explained beautifully why the first New World Order failed and is replaced by a new one. So some people said New World Order is a reality, some say it's a utopia, but the reality is that it's a reality, it's not a utopia. You may not see it, you may be hearing it, you may not know the actors, or you may be unclear about who are those driving that particular agenda, but the reality that it exists. So what are the economic thoughts of the New World Order? Because of time: capitalism, neo-imperialism, exploitation of resources of the third world, peonage. You are given debt by some of these developed countries, and you are now chained into what is called debt trap. Then they can also capture the state by using elites to run your government, and they report back to them. Industrialism and entrepreneurialism is flourishing in developed countries, and they are sending product to developing countries. So we remain at the periphery, and we observe what is called consumerism. We only consume, we don't produce. The multinational companies comes into our economy and they tap our resources for the advancement of some of these countries. So this is the theory that supports. It's called dependencies theory or international dependency theory. So those who are at the center are the developed countries, and those of us who are developing countries, they are on the periphery. The center, they eat from the table, while the rest of us, we eat crumbs under the table. So what are the political and social thoughts of the New World Order? In terms of government, there are 2 levels. There's what we call leveler, mode of governance. This is where they promote democracy, liberalism, equality, etc. This is common in European Union and US. The other one is Leviathan. This is common in Asia, especially China, where they practice socialism or Marxism. And some other things you see in the New World Order: globalization. Every one of us who work within the framework of globalization and the institutions that promote globalization, like United Nations, World Health Organization, IMF, World Bank, etc. It also promotes hedonism and materialism, and also liberalization of moralities, godlessness, sexual liberalism. So you must have heard of gay and the lesbians and so on and so forth. Multiculturalism and syncretism. You merge all religion together, nationalism and factionalism. So who are the conspirators? We can read this: United States, European Union, the Jewish think tank groups, Western politicians and statesmen, global media, CNN, Hollywood, where they remodel you, set agenda for you, condition your mind. The academia, the books you read, the novel you read are structured to promote New World Order. Then there are so many powerful military organizations and the secret intelligence agency, they support it. And also Freemasonry, the Illuminati group, and the international cultists. All these people are those who promote the New World Order. And what are the effects? Look at Muslim nations. Some are failed states, some are failing states, and some are states under surveillance. Iraq and Turkey, they are under surveillance. Failing states, Somalia is failing, Sudan is failing, Ethiopia, and those that have failed already, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc. Then this is the picture, the Muslim countries in terms of literacy rate and human development index. You can see all of them very low. They have been rated 168, 100, 198, etc. Whereas developed countries, look at the number 2, number 22, 10, etc. So they are doing well in terms of literacy rates and also human capital development indices. Then what are the effects on the Muslim, you and me? Stereotyping. Many of us, we have been classified into bad Muslim, good Muslim, moderate, extremist, fundamentalist. Muslims are also endangered species. You are being massacred in all parts of the world. You suffer inferiority complex. Some who are weak, they adopt westernization. Some of us copycat syndrome and blind followership and perpetual dependency. Today, we are fault finders, onlookers, spectators, complainers, instead of pathfinders and pace setters. Some of us are even apostates and renegades. Some are innovators in religion, and in different parts of the world, Muslims are migrants and refugees. And of course, intellectually, we are backward because we have actually closed the door to rationality and the intellectualism. And to conclude, 5 things have actually eluded the world, which Islam has brought. They call it Maqasid Sharia. The first one is preservation of the religion. Religion has been liberalized. There is godlessness and free thinking. So Islam has preserved that. Also, Islam has preserved souls. Souls are being, wasted in needless war around the world because of egocentric tendency, etc. So Islam actually made life sacrosanct. And also number 3, intellect. Islam promotes intellectualism by protecting our brain, ifsul akil. And the 4th one is the offspring too. Islam places importance on generation yet unborn, and of course current generation, which is what people promote today in under sustainable development, a development that will protect the interests of current people as well as the future generation. And more importantly, Islam protects the wealth, ifsul mal, corruption everywhere, and the lack of transparency. Inability of United Nations and the proponent of the world order to safeguard these 5 things led to crisis in different parts of the world. And that is why Kutu, one of the thinkers of the contemporary time, is late in his book called Islam, the Religion of the Future, Islam Dinu Mustakbal, in chapter 5, which he called Alam, and chapter 6, which he calls Savior. He said, mankind may run away from Islam because of one thing or the other, but man cannot dispense with Islam for long. No matter how you run away from the reality, you cannot dispense with Islam for long. And finally, I want us to take this home to change the dynamics. One of the writers in contemporary times, Oliver Roy, argued that the attempt to create a universal Islamic state is doomed to failure because of the conflict between Sunni and Shia form and other ethnic differences. In Somalia, in Libya, in Afghanistan, he called the failure of political Islam. So if you want Islam to actually reign and for us to be relevant, 4 P's are very, very important. Profession of true faith in Islam, practicing through Islam, propagating through Islam, and protecting through Islam. Finally, because of time, I want to leave you with the quote of Abu Alama Ujudi. He said, we are surrounded by treasures, but how do we treat them? We play with them in the same way as that ignorant child who, surrounded by diamond, regard them as stones. My heart bleeds when I see us frittering away such tremendous wealth and power through ignorance and foolishness. So may Almighty Allah give us better understanding of His words. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we equally thank our Father who has done justice to the topic. Indeed, He has done justice. And I know that many of us, our hearts will tremble now for what we have heard. Indeed, it calls for sober reflection and implementation of all that we have heard today, inshallah. So not to just have a repeat of what he has said, let me welcome our second speaker to save our time, and that is Ustaz Haroon Thanni. I want to believe by now he is with us, inshallah. فليتفضل مشكورا. بسم الله. Please, I want to be sure, is Ustaz Haroon Thanni with us? Okay, it seems he's yet to join us. Please, brother Abdullah, help me confirm the availability of Ustaz Haroon Thanni. Otherwise, we may need to move to question and answer for our doctor.
Yeah, he's still available, but I'm not sure he's back from Solar.
Okay. So, in line with what we have had, we may need to proceed to the questions that we may have for our doctor now. So, I think we may proceed to the question we have for our doctor. Please, Brother Abdullah, you may assist me in taking note of those who want to ask a question. Please, if you have a question for Dr. LUKMAN ABDUR, you may please signify so that you will respond to them. Please, if you have a question, let us signify. I can see we have a lot of people to ask questions here. Okay. Okay, someone requests for the slide. Inshallah, the slide will be made available to us after the event, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah, I'm going to send it to the Amir, who is going to cascade it to everybody. No problem.
Inshallah. So we are those people with questions, please. Okay. I can see some people raising up their hands. I hope these are recent hands or previously raised hands. All right, Bismillah. So we have, let me take counting ones so that we're going to save our time. We have 1, 2, 3, okay, seven people to ask questions. So the first on my list here, Sister Sophia Adebanjo, you can please ask your question. Sophia Adebanjo, please proceed. You are asked to mute yourself. Sophia Adebanjo, please do so.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So my question is, a man said that religion is...
I can't hear you. Religion is what?
Come again. We lost you.
I think our
Sister
network is bad.
Okay.
What?
Sister Sophia, we can't hear you clearly. Please, you may have.
It is a word to treat a religion should be a penalty and not a problem. But how would I argue so much with a Christian or an unbeliever when the person does not understand what Islam is? And
Can you please
maybe,
repeat your question, please?
okay, I said a man said religion is a problem for us in Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Continue.
we can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
So a Christian posted it on his status, and I responded that religion should be a solution and not a problem. So what response will you give an unbeliever, like the best response? You know, he doesn't know about Islam so much to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
of it.
I understand. Yeah.
You get?
See, yeah, it's very clear. Yeah.
I needed to give the best response because I already talked about my own religion as being
Okay, no
the
problem.
solution.
It's understood. It's
It's very
understood.
clear.
Listen.
You see, one of the features of the New World Order is what is called liberalization of thought. You know, then godlessness and free thinking. So by the time you have liberal mind, free thinking, and a perverted understanding of religion, you look at religion as a problem because of what you are seeing around you. Fighting, you know, between Iraq and Iran many years ago, in Yemen. So if you look at it, you know, without really probing deep into what are the causes, who are the promoters of these crises, you jump to that conclusion that religion is actually the problem of the world. Look at Nigeria in the north. You see Hausas and the Christian. Some will be burning mosques, some will be burning churches. If you look at those issues from the manifestation without looking at the causes, you may also arrive at that particular conclusion that religion is actually the problem of the world. But the reality is that religion is the solution to the problem of the world. If you understood clearly the principle of religion, you live a peaceful life. In Quran, Allah says, "Wa ibadu rahman alladhina yamshuna ala al-ardu khawna." The true servant of Allah, the true religious people are those who walk on the surface of the earth with humility. Wa idha khatabahum jahilun qalu salaman. When they are provoked by the ignorant people, instead of fighting, they say peace, peace, peace. Look at the way Prophet exemplified Islam in Mecca and also in Medina. He did not attack people until Allah gave him clear instruction to protect the religion and the adherents. So live Islam. Don't just preach it. Live it. Let people see it in you. When people read Islam in your character, they will appreciate what Islam is, rather than just shouting, making noise about the fact that Islam is the best. Let them see the best in you. Allah Allah.
So a question from the chat box says that while other Islamic states are resisting this new order, why is it that Saudi Arabia, who Muslims and non-Muslims believe they are the custodian of Islam, are engaging in what they promote as immoralities, most especially what is against Islam and other actions of such nature?
Yeah, beautiful. If you look at the presentation I made, I said part of the social and political thoughts of New World Order is what is called capturing of the state. If you want to capture a state, provide education and scholarship for their children and return them back to their country to become leaders. So when they become leaders, they will be implementing the agenda of New World Order. So they may be wearing jalabia, al-kimba, they may look like Muslim, but their brain and their ideology is actually New World Order. So Saudi Arabia has been captured. It's one of the nations captured, and which is strategically implementing the agenda of the New World Order. Allah Alam.
Thank you, sir. So, Brother Hasim Yusuf, you can please ask your question.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to appreciate our doctor for that wonderful presentation. Sir, I want to ask, what advice will you have for some of our females in the society? They are getting it confused, just like you just said now. We have some of our Muslim on hijab or in hijab going for beauty pageants, modeling, and stuff like that. However, in addendum to that, what role does correct and complete sound knowledge plays in Muslims defending their roles vis-a-vis professing the faith, practicing the faith, protecting it, and preaching it? Assalamu alaikum.
Beautiful. You have actually provided the answer. The answer is that we must have a very clear Islamic thought. You know, there's what we call ilmu, knowledge, and faham, understanding. Source Islam, learn Islam from very good scholar, and put what we have learned into practice. We shouldn't just go out, start condemning America, Britain. No, 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 no. Learn Islam and practice your Islam. Leave politics alone. When you get to politics, use Islamic principle as much as possible so that people will see the beauty of Islam. I don't want to mention name. There are Muslims who are in government in different parts of the world. You can see developments in what they are doing. So Muslims who go for beauty pageants and so on and so forth, they are those that have been captured. I mentioned the effect on Muslims. I mentioned westernization, Americanization, McDonaldization, and liberalism, including free thinking. Oh, I'm a Muslim, I can do whatever I like. I have fundamental human rights. Yes, you have, but the implication is that in Islam, your right actually stops where other people's rights actually start. And also, in defining your rights should align with the rules and regulation of Islam. If you call yourself a Muslim, you can't, promote nudity or you celebrate nudity. Beauty pageant is un-Islamic, and a Muslim sister should not go there. Allah Alam.
Jazakumullah khairan. Quickly, we have Ustaz Haroon Thanni with us now. Permit me to allow him take his lecture so that any other person that has question for Dr. RAHEEM can equally do that at the same time for Dr. Haroon. So inshallah, we have Dr. Haroon Thanni. Please, you can have the floor now, sir. We have just 20 minutes or 25 minutes for the presentation. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ustaz Haroon.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Lillahi al-amru min qablu wa min ba'd. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making it possible for us to be here today. First and foremost, I want to appreciate my brother, my friend, the person of doctor, and then associate prof or assistant prof. I can't remember the title very well. I'm very sorry for that beautiful presentation. Before I left for Maghrib, I was with us and I saw the presentation. I heard about it, and the slides, to me, they were excellent. Unfortunately, I have a problem with my setting here. I thought I'm going to use my phone, so I 100% rely on that. So I'm using my laptop as a substitute, so I may not be able to share my screen and my video because there's a problem with that. So may Allah reward our brother for that beautiful presentation, for the time he puts in to educate us on that. So in order for me not to repeat what he has said, I'm just going to pinpoint some area of emphasis in his presentation because it is the same topic we are going to look at from different angles. The first thing I want to pinpoint is quite a long time when the issue of New World Order came on board, I was confused because I wouldn't know why are people talking about New World Order? What is the meaning of this? Champion, the Bush area, the senior and the junior, New World Order, New World Order, new, everybody was saying right, left, front, back. So what was the meaning of this to them, and what is the meaning of New World Order? I think our scholar has already dealt with that. But to go into it, in order for me to have a launching ground, people will say that it is a theory, an hypothesis that is a secretly emerging one that proceeds to then totalitarian world government in any form, either through currency, policy, economic systems, the political system. That is the definition. But they will tell you that it is nothing but a conspiracy theory. So you see, it is the best way to catch your prey is unaware. If you look at all predators, even in animals, if you have watched the video on trying to catch its prey, it looks for the best way to catch its prey unaware. So, and that is the method. You see, this slogan of conspiracy theory is to catch you unaware. Before you realize, before you wake up, the damage would have been done, you have been caught, and there is nothing you can do to it anymore. So that is why this issue of conspiracy theory started. And if you look at those who started it, they were the same people that were planning against people. So don't ever believe in somebody saying conspiracy theory. Whatever you hear about, even if it's not existing, people are thinking towards that way. Please get that as clue number one. So what is the meaning of New World Order? I think we've dealt with that from the lecture and from what I said. This term is used for what? What is the aim and objective of those behind it? The aim and objective is control. Just get that. It's control. They want to be in charge. They want to take charge of affairs of people, both the private and their public life. And that is why the view of people about the pandemic is two. Don't ever say one. Some people believe that the pandemic is not pandemic, it is also pandemic. So even if there is something they call pandemic, there is also something that we should know that nobody can say that is called pandemic. Some people are sitting down somewhere planning something in a way to launch it to the whole public, either good or bad. So that is another side of it. So the most important thing about the world order is control. Then, what are their system? So the system is what Dr. have explained through politics, through our social interaction, through our economy, and then also through religion. They want to use those anything that is an interface between man, between man and God. In as much as you are living being, whatever you do, they want to have a control over it. The way you spend your money, how much comes into your account is still the same thing. And it has been long. The issue of central bank is one of it. The issue of World Bank is another part of it. The issue of IMF is anything that has to do with centralization of affairs would lead to the new world order in any form. The reason why those who said pandemic is pandemic is because it has the features of new world order. One of the features is that the whole world have to sit down, lock down, and were locked down. The whole world could not go about their businesses except what the government dispensed. Yes, that happened. The whole world could not even go to the masjid or religious centers except as dictated by the central. Yes, it happened. Our Hajj, our Umrah, our masjid, last year, 2 years ago, we all prayed our Taraweeh at home. Nobody could go to the masjid, particularly in Europe and some other places. We couldn't go. We sat at home. That is features of new world order. to tell people when to go out, when not to go out, to tell people when to eat, when not to eat, to tell people what to say, what not to say, to tell people what to wear, what not to wear. And either you like it or not, you just have to accept it one way or the other. So that's why some people believe that pandemic is not just pandemic. Yes, it's there, but it is also pandemic. Wallahu alam. Either we believe it or not, the most important thing is for us to be aware. So that is the most important thing. So the aim and objective of those behind it is control. That is what they are aiming at. Then, if that is aim and objective, what led to that? How did they come about trying to gain control of everything? Yes, initially before the advent of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people had been trying to gain control of either people's private affair, people's religion, people's way of life. You could see that emanating from what Prophet Ibrahim والسلام, faced during his own time. He worship Allah, they worship idols, they forced him to worship idol, otherwise he would be killed. I don't want to go too much into that story. The time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu he did the same thing. Before the Prophet sallallahu came, Abraham came from Yemen. He wanted to destroy Kaaba because he wanted everybody to worship through Christianity, and then they should come to Yemen to worship in the church instead of going to Saudi Arabia at that time, or Hijaz as it was called. So the aim and objective of these people started from the concept of the fact that we want to teach to people. The second aim and objective is universalization. They want to universalize ideas. If we think this thing is good, everybody should also say it is good. And they want that to start from their own local area and then send it to the whole world. So the whole world must accept whatever we say it is good is good. The issue of LGBT today is conceptualized by some people and they threw it to the whole world. So if you don't accept it, you are not advanced. If you accept it, then that means you are advanced. That's just an example. No matter how absurd, no matter how that such idea is, they want the whole world to also accept it as, yes, this is the way and it has to be. Unfortunately for them, when Islam came, or in completion of Islam during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first thing Islam introduced is universalization of all its idea, all the 5 principles narrated by Dr. The Aqidah was universalized. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah is said by any Muslim anywhere in the world, and that is why Sayyid Qutb said in his book, Milestone, that La ilaha illallah is a statement that does not carry weapon. That statement does not have weapon. But Pharaoh understood it very well. When Musa told him, La ilaha illallah, Musa Rasulullah, he understood that yes, there was no physical weapon. But the meaning of that kalima is stronger than carrying a weapon. If you really understand the meaning of La ilaha illallah. And the same thing Abu Jahl said when the Prophet ﷺ came to Mecca, and he said, La ilaha illallah, and he was asked by some people who were so close to him, why do you refuse to accept this person? He said, do you know the meaning of what he's saying? He's telling us that we cannot eat except La ilaha illallah. We cannot sleep except La ilaha illallah. We cannot put on anything except through La ilaha illallah. We cannot, nothing we can do except La ilaha illallah. No food means La ilaha illallah. No clothes, La ilaha illallah. So illallah simply means except what Allah wants us to eat, except what Allah wants us to see, except what Allah wants us to do. Do you think Muslims understand La ilaha illallah in this manner? If we do, our situation will not be the way it is today. If we do, then we will not be talking about the problem we are facing all over the world. So the aim and objective is to universalize idea. But when Islam came in completion through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it universalized this idea. Also, not only in the area of Aqidah, in the area of worship, the aspect of salawat, Islam institutes 5 salawat. When it was time for Maghrib, I told you people I have to go and pray Maghrib. It was around 5 o'clock in Nigeria, but here it is time for Salat. So in the next few hours, you also be praying Salatul Maghrib, and you have to break the program. The universalization of idea of salat or ibadah in Islam is known. When it is Ramadan, every Muslim will fast. So the third issue is the zakat, which is under Aqidah too, under Ibadah, and then part of it under Muamalah. And it goes on and on and on and on. So all forms of life in Islam, either you put it under Aqidah, put it under Ibadah, put it under Muamalah, you put it under Akhlaq, they are all standardized and they are universalized. A Muslim cannot be a Muslim in Europe in one way and become a Muslim in another way. In some area, no, it's not possible. What is halal anywhere in Morocco, Mauritania, west parts of the Muslim country, and in Indonesia, the Asian part of the Muslim side is the same. You can't change it. So that made Islam a center of attack for anybody, for any ideology that believes in the New World Order, for any ideology that also wants to establish itself in a universal form. So Islam became the attack, center of focus, and that is what is happening today. If anybody asks, why is it that only Islam are Muslim? It is because of what we've explained. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already given us what He has not given to any ummah in the whole of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Yamununa alayka an aslamu qulillahu yamunu alaykum qul la tamunnu alayya islamakum balillahu yamunu alaykum an adakum lil iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us Islam in a way that we can be proud of it, and the rest is left for us to see it in that light. So that is why all over the world there were attacks from right, left, front, back against the Muslims and against Islam, because Islam is the world order according to the title. According to the title of today's lecture, Islam is the real world order, inherent in our Aqidah, inherent in our Ibadah, inherent in our Muamalat, inherent in our Akhlaq, inherent in our Siyasa, in our politics, in such a way that the dynamism inside the principles of these theories that I've mentioned, those dynamism would not even affect the principles, the fundamental principles all over the globe. And that is a point of concern to the enemies of Islam. That is the reason why anywhere anybody says Republic of Islam, there will be an attack against that person. That is where any place anybody says no to interest, no to riba, there will be an attack on that person. That is the reason why anywhere, any place, anybody attack the evil culture in the face of LGBT, in the face of whatever, there will be an attack on such person, because of the fact that the universalization of idea which the New World Order is trying to establish right from time up to now, in any phase of it, either in the face of imperialism, either in the face of colonialism, either in the face of fascism during the time of those who believe in that, either in the face of communism, in those three ways, because those are the three ways they establish it. In any phase of it, Islam had already established itself. And the first thing is to remove that establishment before establishing your own. And that was what led to the breakdown of the Khilafah at the time we lost the Khilafah. Also, I also want to point something out before I stop my presentation, that all the so-called world order, different from Islam, that people establish through ideas, either basically on Aqidah, is based on atheism. It's based on atheism. Because what is atheism? The belief that there is no being that is in charge, either sin or not sin. You are in charge of your affair. We are in charge of our affair. The denial of God, the removal of the presence of a creator in our life. That is what atheism is all about. So they try to do that in order to finish the well-established world order that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already placed. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلِلَّهِ ميراث السماوات والأرض. He is the creator of earth, and he has already stipulated the laws according to the way it fits into the creation, and nobody else can change that, no matter what anybody says, no matter what effort anybody puts in. Yes, they are trying their best possible overnight. Up to now, they are not sleeping. If the Islamic world order is not the real world order, given the participation, given the contributions of Muslims, given our fatigue and our inability to practice Islam the way it ought to be practiced, we would have forgotten about Islam today. Don't ever be deceived. Either it is capitalism or through democracy, which is his political idea. Either it is communism through socialism, which is political. Whatever name that is given to anything, just know that the brain behind it, it is to establish universalization of idea, and that can never happen. When there is a structure, you have to clear the structure, and to clear the structure is to attack Islam, is to destroy Islam, and re-establish there what is different, what they think is an alternative. If we live to see those alternatives, we'll see it not working, because it's from man, it's not from God. It will never work. No matter how we are sensitized to accept it, no matter how they glorify it, it can never work. But some people would face the challenge, the problem, and that is what we are facing now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us in the Quran when He talks about contributions, when He talks about striving, struggle. Allah says, "I'malu fasayarallahu amalakum wa rasuluhu wal mu'minun." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to strive. He wants us to put in our effort, no matter how little. To us is to put in our effort, but the result belongs to Allah. But what are we supposed to do? I will recommend two things. The first one is the knowledge. In order to destroy, in order to understand this ideology, either people call it conspiracy theory or whatever, the best way to have full knowledge of it is to be well informed. We must be informed. Allah used knowledge to eradicate whatever means of order people established at that time before the advent of the Prophet. Allah used knowledge to sweep it off. When Prophet came, Allah told him, Iqra bismi rabbik, read. Other people also read, but in your own case, read in the name of your Lord. Whatever we want to read, Ismail Raji al-Faruqi said that the Islamization of knowledge is very important. It doesn't mean that everybody must read in the name of Allah, as in you must study tafsir, study the hadith. It means that you must understand Islam to venture into any course. So be it science, be it technology, be it commercial, be it business, administration, be it whatever area angle you want to approach your profession, make sure that you are doing it in the name of Allah. Once you have this basic knowledge, you can never be deceived. Umar Radala Anim says that anybody who does not understand Jahiliyyah to destroy Islam more than establishing Islam. So our understanding of what Islam says will help us to understand this Jahiliyyah, and we have to study it. So knowledge is very important. This knowledge could be divided into two. The first one is the knowledge that the world is worshipping today, knowledge of science and technology. Before the coming of pandemic, we know the world is talking about artificial intelligence, and the world is fast moving towards that. We've seen the strong of cars that are no more using fuel. They are using what? So the electric cars, batteries. The next stage after that is cars that will drive itself, cars that will not need you to drive it, car that will interact with the owner just like you are interacting with somebody else. The next after that is your door that will be artificialized. When you come to the house, instead of you knocking, once your face is identified by the door, the camera on the door, then there will be a voice that will greet you. Today, just today, I went to a filling station here in Europe just to buy fuel. Immediately I lifted the nozzle. The computer was talking to me. Sorry, place back the nozzle and then make a choice of how you want to make your payment. I didn't understand. I was like, make a choice. What choice again? Okay, place back the nozzle. I place back the nozzle, and I see on the screen, make a choice. Then I make a choice. Do you want to pay by card? Do you want to pay by card, or do you want to go to the shop to pay? Which way do you want to do? Transfer or whatever means. Then you point at the shop. Then the nozzle will come up by itself. Here in Europe, there is no petrol attendant. It is you and then the machine that will be interacting. You and the machine that will be interacting. At the toll gate, it is you and the machine that will be interacting, except some few areas where you still find some people working. So the artificial intelligence is what is ongoing before the coming of the pandemic. Maybe that slowed it down. Maybe that is another way of casting deception all over the world so that people will go beyond limits, because there are limits that they set and people are not obeying that limit. So, wallahu alam, your dog will talk to you and say, oh, Haroon, welcome. How was your day today? Oh, you are not the only person. Somebody is beside you. Should I open or remain closed? That is if you don't want the person beside you to come in. And you say, no, don't worry, this is my friend. Open, and the door will open. You go inside, the door will close itself. Your cars, you don't have to park it, the car will park itself. This is artificial intelligence world where we are moving on. I once asked a professor of robotics about his idea, a Muslim professor. I asked him, don't you think we are moving towards our own destruction? He said yes. He said, what you know, my brother, about artificial intelligence world is nothing compared to where they are now. They've moved. They are not reporting everything. There will be a time you will go out and the person beside you is not a real human being, it's an artificial being, but you will never know the way you will interact with you, except you look keenly, except you are told. Wallahu a'lam. So knowledge is the first stage. Our fathers did that. In the area of chemistry, we know the first person to establish it. In the area of surgery, we know the first to do that. In the area of plane or flying plane, we know the first person to think about flying. They are all Muslims. In the area of pharmaceutical field, we know those who started it first. When the Muslim country started operating, carrying out surgery, Europe was still in darkness. Europe was still thinking about voodoo power at that time, at the time when the Muslims were starting all these advancements of technology. So knowledge is the first thing we need. I want to use this medium to urge my Muslim brothers and sisters, if there is any that could take up this challenge, MSS is one of it. MSS could do it very well. Both at individual and communal level, we can do it. Knowledge is...
I'm sorry, we have just a few minutes to end it, sir.
Okay, the second thing I will propose is the unity, the Ummah, the unity of the Ummah. In order to establish the new world order, the unity of Muslims was crushed. And ever since then, they were monitoring from all nook and crannies to make sure that nothing of such come up again. We've been segmentalized. We need to come together. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you refuse to come together, there will be fitna. See, Baduhum awliyahu bad. Either the munafiqun, either the kuffar, either the Jews, they are friends of one another. If we refuse to be our own brother's friend, then there will be fitna. That is the fitna we are facing now. Those are the two weapons we need to combat the new world order. Once we have the knowledge, it will encompass the knowledge of Islam and the knowledge of the Kufr. Once we have the unity, then our strength and our power will be there. Remember, there is United Nations Organization. Remember, there is European Union. Remember, All these blocks that are coming together, the Allied forces during war, they are all there in order to establish a world order. The Islamic unity is very, very important. If we refuse to bring it on board, we may, even if we have the knowledge, we may not be able to do anything. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from the evil of our time and the evil of the future.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, Amin. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we thank our Ustaz who are taking us through the topic of discussion. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward him abundantly. Now, because of time, we have had a lot. And I can see we have many of us who are already raising up their hands to ask questions. So inshallah, we shall entertain questions in 10 minutes, inshallah. So for those of us who will be having questions, you can simply signify. I would love Brother Abu Aisha should please assist me in unmuting those who have raised their hands so that I'll be able to take their questions. Please assist me in unmuting people who have raised their hands. Now, Bismillah.
Lajiti Oje can please ask his question. Alaji, please go ahead.
Now, I want to talk on the first lecture delivered by Dr. LUKMAN RAHEEM. Number one is that doctor said the religion is the problem of the world. But to me, the way I understand it is that it's the mankind that made the religion the problem of the world. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained everything. All the solution to the problem of this world is inside the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained everything to us. Now, go back to the second lecture delivered by Dr. Haroon Thanni. My own question is this. The major challenges to the world order is the disunity of the human. How can we unite the whole human? That's the question. Because in Nigeria now, the disunity in the human is still affecting us. Talk less of the global challenges. How are we going to address this? That's the major challenges in the world. If we can be able to address this, I think the problem of the world, we are going to solve the problem. At least 70% of the problem of the world will be solved. But how are we going to solve the disunity in the global world?
So let us take about 5 questions so that our staff can respond to them. Please, if you need to ask questions, kindly make it as brief as possible so that we can manage the time that we have. And if your question has been asked, please do not repeat what somebody has asked earlier. So another person to ask question.
Sister Sekina, you can go ahead, please. Sister Sekina, you can go ahead. Yes, she's having some challenges. Mufti, you can go ahead, please. Also, Miriam can also go ahead. Ahmad Akoride, are you available? You can go ahead.
Please, you need to unmute yourself. For those of you that your name is called, you need to unmute yourself to be able to.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now, my question has to do with the issue of the fall of caliphacy in 1924. From history, we learned that the way it fell happens to be a plan masterminded by
Please, we can't hear you again, please. I don't know.
At the point, the things we know that are haram. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
You said the
Martin, go ahead.
cause of the fall was caused by who?
Kamal Ataturk.
Okay. Go ahead.
The fall of Islam. Now, so my question now is, when we read it in history, we're imagining what Muslims were doing as at that time. But from the event unfolding in Saudi Arabia right now, I can see a repeat of the same thing. And I know what we can do as individuals or as Muslims to rescue all the atrocities going on currently in Saudi Arabia. That's my question.
Okay, thank you. So we need 2 more questions, please, because of time. 2 more, please.
Madam Martin, please also take note that there are some questions in the Q&A section. As soon as we finish this, 2 other questions. We might have to go there.
Okay, it's noted. So let's take 2 more. I will start with brief with the responses. Now, Bismillah.
Sister Sakina Adeyinka, you can go ahead. If Mufti is available, let him also go ahead. Marufa Adeshokun, are you available to talk?
If anyone is available, they can unmute themselves.
Okay.
Sister Sakina Adeyinka, Sister Miriam, Mufti, and Marufa Adeshokun, you can please go ahead.
All right.
I think the 4 of them are unavailable. Can we just go straight to the Q&A section, please?
Yes. Kindly help me read that out, please. Kindly let me read it out so that Ustaz can respond. Can start responding, please.
Okay, I'm of the opinion that Ustaz responds to the ones that have been asked before we go to the Q&A section.
No problem. Okay, Ustaz LUKMAN RAHEEM, sir, you have a question for you here. Talking about saying that religion is the problem of the world.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that. I was not the one that postulated that. The sister said the neighbor informed her that religion is the problem of the world. And I said religion is not the problem of the world. Rather, religion is the solution to the problem of the world. Because the most important institution, the first institution after creation was religion. And that's why Allah stated clearly that وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. They have not created jinn and men except for worship. So the first institution after creation was religion. So religion actually gave birth to every other thing. Ustaz Haroon mentioned it. Verses of Quran actually spurred early Muslims to go into empiricism, which is the foundation of modern science today. Exploration, Allah asks people to explore, travel, use your brain. So religion actually created so many things that we are enjoying today. The 1, 2, 3 that we read is Arabic numerals. So it's not Western numerals. So we should be grateful to religion rather than to attack religion. Allah Alam.
So question to Ustaz Haroon is basically on the disunity. What is the way forward in addition to the fall of the caliphate and something thereabout? So your response on this, sir?
Now, it is the work of every Muslim to bring about unity, particularly the scholars should champion it to the extent they can. Allah says in Quran chapter 8, Surah Al-Anfal, I think it's verse 46, follow, obey Allah and His Prophet, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا, do not disagree among yourself, in order for you not to lose your power and be afraid. So, wasbiru, while you are doing this, you have to be patient. Inna Allah ma'as-sabirin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are patient. So, all those instructive words, they are very, very pregnant. So, if Allah says, do not disagree in order for you not to lose your power, they are very pregnant. Our disagreement, no matter how low it will bring negativity. So, until we try to accommodate views from Muslim brothers. Just for reason, Saudi Arabia just pronounced Tabligh as non-Muslim. That is 100% wrong. That is 100%. Yeah, we can say there is no group that is 100% Islamic. So we are all, Islam is above. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says, Inna hadha dinu or inna dina yusru, from Abu Hurairah says, this religion is a religion of ease. Walan yushada dinu, walan yushada dina ahadun illa alayhi walan yushada dina alayhi walan yushada dina ahadun illa galba. I think that is, I'm sorry if I didn't get the text very well. The Prophet ﷺ said, this religion is a religion of ease. Walan yushada ahadun dina, nobody will try to impose himself on the deen, illa galba, except the religion will topple it. So, and he said, fasadidu wa qaribu wa abshiru. So all these hadith, they are very important. So I think the first thing is that brotherhood is the job of everybody. Quran chapter 49, verse 10 emphasizes that when Allah says that for aslihu, that aslihu islah is with the verb of striving. You have to put in your effort for it to be done. You see, it's from afwala. That afwala simply means that the work supposed to emanate from you. Allah has given us the tool. What are the tools? Iman and brotherhood. So those are the two things. If one is there, the other one will be there. So if one is there, the other one is not there, that means you have to go and check for it. Where there is Iman, there must be brotherhood. Where there is brotherhood, it must be Imanalized. Without that, it can never work. And how do you get that done? For us, you have to strive for it.
No, so we have the question here that does it mean we should not learn technology based on what is happening? To Ustaz Haroon, sir. And somebody asked the other branch of knowledge that you mentioned.
We have to. Technology is either we like it or not. It is either we take it or not. I remember vividly, I always say this is just a life experience. In early 2000, around 2008 or thereabout, we had an MSS meeting and many of us from Lagos went with our phones. I remember those brothers from the other end, they were looking at us as you, one of them even came to me because we normally said, Ustaz Haroon, I can't believe it, that somebody like you is also using mobile phone. I said, what is it? He said, no, it's made by the Kufar. What should I said, my brother, don't let us argue about this. Time will tell. That's what I told him. 2 years later, around 2009 or 2010, I went for the meeting. I used to go with my car. This brother called me aside and he said, am I going back to Lagos? We used to do it overnight. I said, yes, as early as possible. He said, please, I want to follow you. Do you know where phones are repaired in Ikeja? I said, oh, I know the place. The place, that's where I'm going. I said, what for? He said, I'm sorry, my brother. I think that is the folk. I want to go and learn how to repair. I said, but you said the other time that mobile, he said, forget about that. That is the past. So everybody, at the beginning, they said it. It was not something of secret. They said it publicly that it is haram, it is bid'ah, don't use phone. There was a question that was asked at the meeting that day. They said that you said, don't you know, even why should you put ringing tone, Quran in your phone? Don't you take the phone to the toilet? I said, if we put ringing tone as Quran on the phone and we go to the toilet, don't we have Quran in our head? Why do we go to the toilet with our head? And they all kept silent. They didn't say anything again. So in order to answer your question, we have to deal with technology, but everything has limit. Science has limit, technology has limit, ethics, everything, business, everything has limit. And that is the job of Muslims, to tell people these are our limits. We should not go beyond them. And people refuse to, if they listen to us, so be it. If they refuse, to all bear the consequences of it.
So we still have another question in the Q&A box there. So you can help us go through the questions so that you can respond to them one after the other as well. So Sister Kabira, you can please call Mir's number after this time out. That number on the flyer, you can call the number so that you can respond to your own question, please. So Ustaz, you can help us respond to other questions on the chat box. Ustaz, Dr. ABDUR, sir. Is nepotism truly the cause of Nigeria falling state?
Yeah, on nepotism, it's part of the manifestation of New World Order. promoting factionalism, sectarianism, and so on and so forth. So for people who lack clear understanding of Islam, they will embrace some of these isms, and it's going to destabilize their country. Look at what is happening in Somalia. Somalia is the most homogeneous Muslim countries in the world. Somali people is just one. Despite the fact they don't have multiple tribes, they allow tribalism, nepotism, factionalism, and so on and so forth to destabilize that particular country. Look at Sudan also. So it's not only Nigeria alone. People who don't really value religion and religious ethics and who wants to follow free thinking, fundamental human rights, and divisive tendency, they don't develop as a nation. Look at what is happening in China, Turkey, Iran. These people, they embrace unity, collectivism, and that's why they are able to challenge the new world order. These are the golden emerging countries in the world. So that is my response to that.
All right. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. To Ustaz Haroon, sir, somebody asked a question that a subset of knowledge, saying that how do we now instill consciousness into Muslims that are actually learning now?
By enlightenment, we don't have lectures of this nature, other group lectures, and then dissemination of knowledge in one form or the other is our job, not led to scholars alone, because not everybody will want to learn Arabic or learn Quran to the extent of knowing all this. Even those who come to classrooms, our doctors are doing fine, they are doing good job. Nobody will go into their class without having a bit of Islamic understanding. So Islamization of knowledge is the starting point. There is also a question on Mu'amala. Say, is Mu'amala man to God activities or man to man activities? If I understand that question, the way I will answer it is that Mu'amala is 25% principles from Allah and 75% from human. So that is what Mu'amala is. We've been given some principles and they are no more than 25% under Mu'amala. So Allah left the remaining 75 for us. It's like we're given the skeleton to go and flesh it ourselves. So that is what Mu'amala is all about.
All right, sir. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Because of time, we may not be able to take more questions, but let us have the privilege that you can still drop your questions in the Q&A box while our Ustaz may respond to them in the background while we have other programs. So you can do that as a privilege. Please, Jazakumullah khairan for your understanding. And Sister Kabira Hussein, like I mentioned earlier, you can call on the number on the flyer so that they can respond to your question because it has to do with academics and scholarship and thereabouts. So we have a director of study to respond to such question. Please, you can call. To save time, we may not be able to do that here. So inshallah, we move to the next thing on the agenda. But before then, we need to appreciate our Dr. ABDUR LUKMAN and our Ustaz Haroon Thanni for taking out their time to be with us this evening. We sincerely appreciate what you have dished out, and indeed, we have learned a lot. So we appreciate you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to assist you, increase your knowledge and understanding, keep you firm on the deen of Islam, and preserve you for us. And we shall all be dwellers of paradise, inshallah. So, jazakumullah khairan. So, on this note, let us take our Kahoot session. It's time for quiz. So, let us pay attention. We welcome our dear brother Abiono, please. Assalamu alaikum.
Now, so inshallah, we'll go into the couch section now. And I want to believe we are all ready. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, sorry, please. Oh. So all right, I'll be sharing the screen now. I'm just having a little, but it's going to okay. Okay. Now, so I hope we are set now. So let's get ready. The game will be on in a few minutes time. Okay. It's like okay. I think cab. Okay. I'm trying to share voice. Malam Cap, can you share for me there? I can't actually share my screen here.
Okay.
I don't know what
Let me try and share and see. Okay.
Can you do that from there?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Not getting that option. Yeah, I don't know why.
Sorry, while we are trying to do the sharing for the quiz, permit me to request that those of us who are using a device and we are more than one on that device, can you please let us know the number of people that are with you on the device? Number of people with you on the device, including yourself. Just give us the number. So if you can do that, so that we can have an overview of the total number of people that are with us, because I am informed that there are some devices that we are more than one using it. You can do that on the chat box so that I can take counting.
Okay. Yeah, don't forget those who are entering. The rule is that your nickname is your phone number. So your phone number is your nickname. So we don't expect Abdullah or Larry. We don't expect Easy. We don't expect Omot T. So please change your name, your nickname to your phone number. So we have 11 players now. We have 12. You don't have a number. If you don't have a number, then that's all. Your participation is not valid then. Okay. At least we still have about 278 participants on board. So I expect us to have not less than 100 participants in our quiz today. Arasu, please change your name. Don't forget your phone number is your nickname. Your phone number is your nickname. MM and Co. Change your okay. Okay, Madam Kab, I think in the next 5 minutes, in the next 5 seconds, we can start. We have 55 participants now, up to 60, or can we wait till we get to 70, 80? Wow. So we are having up to 70. So Balam Kab, let's start.
I can't see the stats. But,
Okay. So the first question, the real world order is dash A, Islam, globalization, unitarianism, and Americanism. Wow, great. Okay. So we can see the leaderboard now. Question 2. Islamic system is divided into 3. At-Tawheed, Al-Risala, Al-Khilafa. At-Tawheed, Al-Risala, Al-Khilafa. Al-Sharia, Al-Jama, Al-Khilafa. Al-Sharia, Al-Jama, Al-Khilafa. All right. Question 3. Al-Sharia, Al-Jama, Al-Khilafa. Wow. Okay. The question is the first. Oh, all right. Let's leave that.
Yes, there's a mistake in this question.
Yes, there's a mistake there. Okay, let's move on. We are sorry about that. New World Order 1 failed because dash. It didn't solve the general problem, resistance from emerging powers. It restricts people. It gives power to the few. Next question, please. Which of these is not an economic thought of the New World Order? Capitalism, neo-imperialism, industrialism, cryptocurrency. Which of the following is not a political and social thought of the New World Order? Leveler mode of government, Leviathan mode of government, Indonesian materialism, Machiavellian mode of government. Okay, question 7. Which of these is not a primary conspirator of the New World Order? USA, Turkey, European Union, Illuminati. Question 8. Which of these is not an effect of the New World Order on Muslims? Stereotyping, inferiority complex, polytheism, copycat syndrome. Which of these is not part of the Mokosi Sherry? Okay, so I think we have seen the options. And the last question.
Maghrib is presently doing Island Arts.
Okay, thank you, Zakumullah Khairan, and that is the end of the quiz. We have this particular number. I think that number is a known number. That third position is a known number. Okay, I think so far this is the fourth time or third time we'll be collecting our gift, and that should be Oyenikun Yusuf. All right, so inshallah we shall get back to those people, the winners of the Kahoot quiz. Thank you very much for the participation. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Naam, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah for the session. We appreciate our brother in the team of the Kahoot session. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all abundantly. Now, inshallah, we shall be calling it a day here. But before then, I would love us to have the memory lane. We need somebody to recite the memory lane as a feedback that indeed we are actually memorizing the verses that have been read to us. Brother Abu Aisha, kindly assist me with anyone that will be interested in reading for us, so that I can help me unmute the person to read. Let us have a feedback of the memory lane.
Yes, yeah, I mean, yeah. Wait. Assalamu alaikum, can we start?
Please go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون إن في هذا بلاغا لقوم وما إلا رحمة للعالمين.
Brother Wusu, what is her name and which area can she say from?
My daughter Sumaya Wusu.
From which area council?
Victoria Council.
Malam Abiono, can you please help us take down the Dutch number so that we can also send the package? Thank you.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادها الصالحون إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما يوحى وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khairan. So that is enough for that. But before we go, let us have the information for us. And I would love to invite our brother Habibullah to please pass the necessary information before we call it a day.
Now, inshallah, I would like to give a rundown of the activities for the following days. So today we had the lecture on the reward order. Inshallah, tomorrow, which is 30th of December, we'll be having the tafsir of the memory lane, that's Surah Al-Anbiya, Quran 21, verse 105 to 108, which will be done by Dr. Muhammad Qamus. Is going to be leading us through the tafsir of the memory lane tomorrow. And then tomorrow's session will be 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. as well. Because tomorrow is also a working day, so we're going to be having only evening session, no morning session tomorrow, inshallah. The same thing on Friday. We're having an entrepreneurship session on Friday, which is going to be centered upon entrepreneurship, a panacea to economic rundown, to be led by Alhaji Ali Oluwafuli and Engineer Jawando. It's going to be an evening session as well, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. inshallah. So on the 1st of January, we're having two programs on the 1st of January. First one is the Couples Day, for the abus and umus among us. So the program is not for the single ones like us. So it's the Couples Day, and the topic is intentional parenting. It's going to be done by Dr. Sulaiman Ogumuyiwa and some other guests who will be joining us for the session. The session for the Couples Day will be held between the 10 a.m. on Saturday to 1 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. So and then after that, we'll be having the evening session for the 1st of January, which will be the Sisters Day, a special program for the sisters alone. And the title of the program is titled A Day with Sahabiya. That will be between 4:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. And then the last day on camp, we'll be having a special session on the Islam we call to, which will be done by Ustaz Ismail Busevi, to be a morning session, inshallah, between 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So we are saying this to make sure we are all on the same page and to make sure we all have our plans ahead of those days so that you can always join the programs. So may Allah make it easy for us. You can visit our website, events.msnlagos.net, to get more information on the schedules of the camp. So we ask Allah to make it easy for us. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, son, Jazakumullah khair, alhamdulillah, 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 once again, who has brought us to this end. We must not leave here without appreciating our guest speaker, our father in Islam, Dr. LUKMAN RAHEEM, and our father Ustaz Haroon Thanni, who has taken their time to be with us and has shared with us the wealth of knowledge Allah has granted them. We appreciate you. Equally, we appreciate every member of the team of Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, as well as all delegates who are taking the time to be part of this. We ask Allah to accept it as an act of worship from every one of us. Make it beneficial for us in this world, in the grave, and hereafter. So inshallah, we call it a day here with joint recitation of Surah Al-Asr till we meet tomorrow by 4:30, inshallah. Bismillah, Surah Al-Asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله